Hi, I'm Marva, and I'm here to present the importance of early memory for human cognition. Memory is fundamental for human survival, and it is an essential and complex neurological system in human beings. According to Diana et al. 2007, nowadays the perspective of analysis in early memory and infant amnesia brings knowledge about the neurogenic process. This deals with the maturation of the hippocampus so as to conceptualize the different categories of memory and how information is expressed through human life as a process of development of the neurological system. Memory is fundamental for human life, and it is an internal structure that will compound the unique individual perception during the person's whole life, thus making it part of the cognition structure, by Jocelyn and Franklin. According to David et al. 2002, it is possible to analyze the encodes of medial temporal lobe retrieval and consolidation of declarative memories, although make a parallel reference to non-declarative memory. Could be controversial for the shift of memory and amnesia, therefore support the theory of the complexity of neurological development and construction of the memory mechanism during the brain maturation. Research into hippocampus maturation illustrated that infants had an immature hippocampus when compared to adults. Therefore, this could be a loss of memory and could mean that information is not retained but part of synaptic plasticity for a long term and taking it for a short term through constant stimulus, by Jocelyn and Franklin 2012. Infant amnesia corresponds with an inability of adults to remember episodes and experience of childhood from 0 to 3 years of age and not have a concrete memory before age 10. Christine and Alexa 2017. The brain is in constant development, absorbing massive amounts of information, which is divided into declarative and non-declarative memory. That information is part of construction of human memory and behavior, being reproduced in various subways, by Cohen 2009. Collectively, such memories store information about who, what, when, and where, and are therefore termed WWW. Memories, which are a foundation for the complex structure of the neurological architecture of memory, which is not only for the short period but also for the long-term structure. Christine and Alexa 2017. Jocelyn and Franklin 2012 argue the neurological hypothesis about the infant memory by replacing synaptic connections by pre-existing hippocampal memory circuits, create a constant memory process and increase the cohesiveness of hippocampal function. The neocortical system slowly learns through environment's statistical regularities and requires the initial support of the hippocampal system as an integrated process of cognition. The hippocampus is responsible to codification and recodification of the different kinds of memories, such as association images, events, and emotions. The complexity of this process can be declarative memories. It refers the ability to store and retrieve both personal information, and no declarative memory correlation of various forms of memory that operate automatically and accumulate information that is not accessible, whose process can build recent memories for the short term and through solidification of memories in long term. For example, this is reflecting the memories in the personal experience during the adulthood, Jocelyn and Franklin, 2012. The first mapping is a mechanism to support the rapid acquisition of vocabulary in children as young as 16 months of age. It is connected to the rapid acquisition of the expressive vocabulary in the young children to whom episode memory and the hippocampus system are not fully developed yet. Sharma et al., 2011. Christina and Alessio, 2017, support the hypothesis of brain development by complexity establishing functional competence through experience. That episode learning and memory for reproduction of the complex functions of binding together several objects, sequence, and time. WW learning as a process to create a constant neurological circuit for infant memory. The hippocampus dependent memory is the discussion that Jocelyn and Franklin, 2012, performed with young rats that analyzed the learning paradigms so as to observe the different memories events that were comparable to human infants. Supporting the developmental hypothesis, Bauer, 2006, but evidence of early memory with our storage of long-term memory because of hippocampus is immature. Finally, Kim et al. 2012 agrees that the hippocampus matured between 3 and 5 years of age. The mechanisms of infantile learning were tested by Christina and Alessio using inhibitory avoidance, IA, practicing the protocol of training and testing rats. For the procedure, they had two groups of rats. One was postnatal, PN 17 days, and the other one was NP 24 days. The process was placing a rat in the box inside two chambers of apparatus, where one was the safe lift place and another was the dark and container the shock. After that 10 seconds, the door that separated the space were open, so the rat could go inside the dark areas through receiving the shock. A few minutes later, the rat returned to the home cage. For the first test, the NP17 didn't retrieve the IA when tested, while the NP24 had a long-term memory to remember it. Christina Alessio, 2017. In the next stage of research, the NP17 rats were divided in 3 groups: naive, shock, and only trained. The result gave a latent memory for execution of the test, and for the rats that were trained, the associative learning was accurate. Also support the developmental hypothesis mechanisms. The critical periods in learning are a sensitive period when the hippocampus is highly engaged in retraining the process and processing new information. This period depends on neurological maturation of storage so as to develop long-term memory. Christina and Alessio, 2017. In conclusion, the importance of early memory for human cognition is the neuronal development and process involved during the brain maturation in infants, and this, many authors refer, is this a critical period for the brain development. This is extremely active for expansion, and the most principal maturing that occurs for this period is concern on cognition structure, hippocampus and development, and behavior forming. Out of these in childhood can influence the information of declarative and non-declarative memories, as well gradually generate a mature system in order to establish long-term memories in humans. Consequently, the formation of memory is a compound of lived experience and subsequently influence of the perception process for the development at the biochemical, neurological, and behavioral level. Therefore, being part of cognition process can be expressed in different ways through the individual lives. The limitation of the study was how many rats, how long they did the test, and the discussion about the results as well was not very clear. And thank you so much for your attention, and I hope you have a great end of term. Even my daughter does not remember this moment. It's certainly part of her personal constructions about her simplicity and happiness. Thank you so much.